introducing the latest developments in the conflict. A summary of the coordinated military campaign between the US and Israel against Iran, including airstrikes on Tehran and other strategic targets. Immediate response from Iran and regional countries through retaliatory missile and UAV attacks on Israel and Gulf states. This is not just a regional conflict. An emergency meeting of the UN Security Council with major parties speaking out and calling for a ceasefire. First, the immediate impacts. There's an increased risk of spreading conflicts across the Middle East. This creates momentum for Iranian-backed armed groups to open new fronts against Israel and its allies. US-Iran relations are predicted to enter a prolonged period of hostility, eroding trust in dialogue. Economically, oil and gas prices surge due to concerns about shipping lanes through the Strait of Hormuz. Global finance sees stock market volatility, and gold prices rise as a safe haven asset. Socially, civilian casualties and displacement of people increase as hostilities spread. Healthcare systems are overwhelmed due to destroyed infrastructure and medicine shortages. This leads to a deterioration of quality of life and psychological stress among the population. Now, let's look at the long-term impacts. Prolonged high energy costs affect economic growth and inflation globally. There will be volatility in global supply chains and shipping costs, increased military and reconstruction costs for warring nations like the USA, Israel, and Iran. A prolonged conflict can create more economic disruption than short-term wars. Geopolitically, deep polarization among major powers will emerge. Reshaping the Middle Eastern security order could lead to new alliances and prolonged confrontations. Socially and institutionally, a prolonged war would fuel a major humanitarian crisis. With large-scale migration to neighboring countries, internal tensions in Iran could escalate, impacting the country's long-term political, economic, and institutional structure. Finally, an in-depth analytical perspective. Experts should comment on nuclear strategy and regional deterrence. Also, diplomatic scenarios, from continued escalation to international ceasefire negotiations. Comparisons with historical cases like Iraq and Afghanistan to assess long-term costs for the US and its allies. In conclusion, this conflict is not just a military war, but a long-term struggle on multiple fronts. The immediate impact may shock markets and regional security, but the long-term impact will truly shape the future. Shaping the future of the Middle East and the roles of major powers. The conclusion ends with a call for peace, diplomacy, and de-escalation from the international community.